is Shoyoqubov, and I am the owner of Oxus Brewing company here in Winnipeg. I was born in a lovely town called Dushanbe in Tajikistan. It's a tiny country in Central Asia. I moved to Canada 8 years ago, and first I settled in Toronto and then eventually moved to Winnipeg, where I have been living since 2012. I decided to start a brewery after I joined the Winnipeg Brew Bombers home brewing club, and I spent there a couple of years and met a lot of awesome people, including Dave Rudge from Half Pints, who very often hosts the meetings of that group. He was just a big chest of information, you know, and every time I approached him with a question about, first about home brewing, and later about, you know, professional side of it, he was just okay with answering them, which rarely happens in a lot of other industries. In general, I have great respect towards people who are involved in making food, and I consider beer as a very fine food. I have huge respect for chefs. All of those processes, they fascinate me. How the brewing works has always been a mystery to me. So I started home brewing and got to know the process, and having a rather scientific mindset, I quickly started getting into like depth of it, and I started studying the science behind it, why like mashing works, and what is achieved by boiling. And turns out it is a very, very scientific and complex process, and I just fell in love with it. My confidence in the beer I make is still happening. When I moved to Winnipeg, I noticed there definitely was a lack of breweries, and this was also one of the things that kind of rang a bell that, okay, this might be a good business. From the time I bought my first kit to the point where the beer was good and was considered good by some people who know stuff about beer, probably there were like 4 or 5 years in between. I didn't go to banks for a loan because if this thing doesn't work out well as I expected to, then I don't want to have a huge loan, you know, on my shoulders, which will then ruin my life in this awesome country. So instead, I spent a few years and saved as much as I could of my own money. For the future of Oxus Brewing, I hope I will be able to build a nice tap room. I want people to love the beer that Oxus makes, you know. I want them to feel good drinking it. I want to be part of this community. Winnipeg's craft beer scene is very friendly. I know pretty much everybody, and they are all nice guys.